And so I brought these 8 women. So my first time doing stand-up, or my attempt at stand-up, was at Spirit's open mic. One night I showed up, and they didn't have enough comics, and I'd had a really bad haircut, and so they said, you could go up on stage, right, and tell your story. And I'm like, I'm not going up on stage. And they said, we'll buy you a beer. And I'm like, just where is it? So I went up on stage and just told the story about how I went to get a haircut and I told her to take an inch off everywhere. She heard me say, make me look exactly like Wayne Gretzky's rookie card. It was exciting, right? Because people laugh at you and they're staring at you, and then other performers thought I was funny, but they were all drunk. I don't know why I was listening to them. And then I came one night with, I was part of a dinner supper club, and so I decided that I would invite them all out to watch me do stand-up, and basically I'd written jokes mocking them. We got here and I didn't know that the MC had been fired the week before. I brought these 8 women, we were sitting down, a bunch of other comics were here, and they said there's no show. And so I went up to the bartender and complained and said, look, I brought all these people, why wasn't the show going on? He said, well, you do it. And so I said, okay, I will. And yeah, it's been mine for 14 years. It's like the unplanned child. That's how I feel about the room. Just because you make your buddies laugh doesn't mean it's going to transcribe on stage. It's always shorter than you expected.
Just 10 minutes of total silence. The very first time, I had a bunch of friends who were like, oh, you should go do stand-up. You're very funny. And this had been going on for a bit. So I decided I'm gonna try stand-up, but I'm not going to tell anyone because I don't want my friends to come out, and then if I suck at it, you know, I just like eat a brick. So I wrote out my whole set, and I go up and I do well. I do really well. I do, you know, better at that than I've ever done at anything in my life. So I'm like, this is great. My first time professionally was a bit of a bloodbath. Just 10 minutes of total silence. It was me eating a brick for 10 minutes. Just nothing. Like, I was just basically making fun of like the different kind of monsters, like vampires and ghosts and werewolves. I had some bits on Jacques Cousteau. Oh, does anyone remember Jacques Cousteau? Anybody? I had a bit on lawn jockeys, when I made fun of lawn jockeys. Deservedly so. See, but there was 2 shows that night. So the second show went fine. And so I was like, okay, whew, just a weird glitch. I would say 2 things. First, you want to mix up your life experiences because that's where all the great bits come from. Try to go out and do some crazy stuff, hand gliding or whatever goofy suggestions come your way. And 2, get in as many sets as you can. Like, just go, because that's what you need. You always remember your first, and it's always trippy.
It was quite nerve-wracking. I wanted to, you know, poop a little. My first time was at Yuck Yucks, downtown Toronto. I enrolled into the Humber School of Comedy, and like all the first-year students, like were allowed to only do 2 minutes of stand-up. It was quite nerve-wracking. I wanted to, you know, poop a little and throw up a little, but none of that happened, thank God. And when I went up there, I told this joke that like I went to the doctors. And this doctor was giving me a physical, and when this doctor was checking me for testicular cancer, this doctor just went to town on me. Like, it's like that person was having a party for free and without any judgment. Like, my punchline was, I left that office feeling so awkward. But now I have a male doctor, I transferred, and he's amazing. I go to his office like 3 times a week. I felt like this high afterwards, and I wanted to dance like crazy, and that's what I did. I had a mini dance party. It was a good time for me to get ushered into stand-up, and it's awesome. It's my passion. You have to always keep learning and keep learning new things, because if you stop learning as a comic or as an artist even, you stop growing. And it's always ballsy.
So I called my boyfriend at the time, and for moral support. It was in a building beside Humber Lakeshore campus. I took a week workshop with their comedy program. And before I went on stage, I was terrified, I was nervous. So I called my boyfriend at the time, and for moral support, and he broke up with me. And I had to go perform right after that. I did great. Used whatever he said and used it in the comedy. I talked about technology. I think I had this bit about if technology had talking appliances, no one would be fat. I know that's mean. What else? I had a couple impressions. I did some Scarface, Tony Montana stuff. You know. Say hello to my little friend. Love that guy. Love him. Love him. And that's what I remember. I felt great because a lot of people enjoyed my set. They were like, Keisha, oh my gosh, you're hilarious. And the rest is history. Keep at it, keep writing, and brand yourself as an individual because you yourself as an entity, you are a walking business. Brand yourself. You always remember your first, and it's always Donkey Kong ridiculous. That's not even a word, but that's okay.
Woke up the Tuesday morning with 2 black eyes and no explanation. My first time on stage, I was 23 years old. I was a student at the Humber School of Comedy, and I had booked a 3-minute gig here on stage at Yuck Yucks downtown Toronto. So the Monday night before, I went out and got completely drunk, woke up on the Tuesday morning with 2 black eyes and no explanation as to how they got there. So then the Tuesday night, I was all excited to go on stage, so I had a few drinks, got on stage, I said the F word probably 45 times in 3 minutes, and I was telling, like, my jokes were going nowhere. Like, they weren't even jokes, they were just stories and, like, things I was saying. I told a story, it's a true story, that when I was a kid, my grandfather used to drive me around at night and we would look at hookers. Like it was like, you know, like African lion safari? Like, it was like that, only it was downtown Toronto and hookers. So I was thrilled. I thought I did so well. I got off stage. I was like, oh, I'm sure Mark Breslin from Yuck Yucks will be calling tomorrow. I'll be headlining next week. And then I got my review, and it was horrible. The guy ripped me apart, said I couldn't even hold the mic right. My stories went nowhere. I swore too much, and I was so hurt. But I listened to everything he said, and luckily I'm still doing it today. Go to 10 open mics, see what it's like to be with different audiences, and know what it's like to bomb, and learn from that. You always remember your first, and it's quiet, and there are a few laughs at the end.
I was happy. I wanted to do it again so that I wouldn't forget, but I couldn't because it was over. My first time doing stand-up comedy was at Absolute Comedy here in Toronto, and it was part of the Second City Stand-Up 101 class. Didn't really have any hope in my my memorization techniques at all, and I blanked right after my Mennonite joke.
Do you think they go to raves?
And I needed to finish with something because that wasn't my closer. I had to pick it up with my final joke, which was about nuns and their sex toys. Do they have them? And that silenced the room fairly well. Couldn't look at my parents, and forgot that joke, forgot the rest of it. So I started just ad-libbing, just improvising, doing some actions with my hands. I felt it went okay, but I obviously needed to learn how to memorize, learn how to write in a way that would help me remember everything. Edit your material. Just edit, because you get to the funny parts faster. You keep their attention. Prepare and get over yourself. You always remember your first, and there's always awkward silences.
I want to do this all the time. I would pay to do this. My first time on stage doing stand-up comedy was at Yuck Yucks downtown, and it was absolutely terrifying. Top 10 most terrifying moments of my entire life. Still remember it. I remember there were scattered laughs immediately before I even said a word, and I was like, okay, you're not laughing at what I'm saying, it's more of how I look, but I'll take it. I talked about how not to get mugged in Scarborough. First step, turn into a dinosaur and growl at the guy that was trying to mug you. Second step was to dance like John Travolta. You're not gonna hit someone, you're not gonna take his money. He's entertaining you, leave him alone. And if all else fails, the third step was just pee yourself. Because no one's gonna steal money from a guy that just peed himself in front of you. It's like, that's disgusting. And that was that. It was like your first time having sex. It was just like, amazing, I wanna do this all the time. I would pay to do this. That was my first time, awesome. So if you're bad, who cares? Try it again, go somewhere else, get another 5 minutes, work on it, tweak it, and keep going, man. You always remember your first, and it's always awkward.
I'm not a farmer, I don't have a farming background. I'm a city girl, and I am growing enough to bring to 2 farmers markets, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. The first step to starting it was I created a little brochure that said, "Hi, I'm your neighbor," and it had a picture of me waving, and it said, "Would you like to be part of City Seed Farms and have a portion of your backyard turn into a vegetable garden?" And within 48 hours, I had 8 homeowners call me back and say, "Please do, I would love to be part of it." That was just like, oh my God, it's actually happening. Urban farming means to grow vegetables for commercial sale within the city limits. It's just the idea of creating sustenance and like edible gardens within the city. The way City Seed Farms works is we collect backyards and we have this land base that's cobbled together over multiple plots. From those plots, we give each participating landowner a weekly basket of food, and the rest of the vegetables we bring to farmers markets. One is 3.8 kilometers from home base, and one is like 0.25 from home base. It's actually like a stone's throw, literally, which is very useful because we do everything by bike. There aren't very many places where it'd be an efficient way to transport food, but within Toronto, it's just so dense, it actually works. There is some pushback to urban farming, for sure, and people have arguments. We have created a global food system that's highly efficient, and so we should just leave it. It is highly efficient, but it's also highly dependent. So when oil prices go up and down, food prices go up and down with it. It is entirely married now. I think the value of urban farming is that it's acknowledging and taking back some local sustainability and autonomy. I don't think it's the entire answer, but I do think it's part of it.
I'm not really sure about this client. I mean, maybe I'm gonna take them, maybe I'm not. Who knows? I don't know. Okay, enough about work. I want to hear about your date. Okay, so he orders the calamari. Okay, and I'm not really hungry, so I just maybe take a couple of bites. Then I get some wine, and he gets 3 double scotches. Then the bill comes, and he wants to split it 50-50. Can you fucking believe that?
His name's not Mark Marini, is it?
No, why?
Oh, well, I thought I told you about him.
Well, he's this guy I met online, and you know, we had great chemistry, great conversations, so we finally decided to meet up. So I get to the bar, and he doesn't show up. He doesn't even call to cancel, no text, nothing. I don't hear from him again until a week later. I get a mass email invite to his son's first birthday party. His son.
Oh my god, you know, that is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, guys fucking suck these days. I mean, look at that guy behind me. He actually took off his wedding ring right before the woman got there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What a jerk. The guy behind you just gave the bartender his phone number. Will's girlfriend was in the bathroom.
Like,
Nice.
what the fuck?
Yeah, nice guys. Very nice. Nice.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Are you alive? He was alive.
He was alive?
Yeah, he was alive. And so he was like, you know what? I don't think that I like handle that.
Here you go, ladies. The guy over there sent you 2 drinks.
You're a douche, but I'll still drink your drink. I am so switching teams. I am making my way over to the taco stand.
You're a genius. Yeah, that's it. I mean, we're women, we're like, amazing. You know, who doesn't want a piece of this? Like, seriously.
And action.
Time. Go.
Now reach for your phone.
Click on it yet?
Yeah, click on it. Click on Jill.
Like that?
Perfect. Now bring it up to you. It's gonna be Saturday. Oh, that looks beautiful. Bing!
What up, Jay?
Hey.
What up, Jay?
Hey. So last night was interesting.
Yeah, too much vino, not enough quality Pinot.
Yeah. So do you remember what we talked about at all?
Yeah, what do you mean about...
Yeah, about switching teams?
Well, yeah. It was a joke, right?
Well, I mean, I'm sick of guys.
Guys.
Yeah, me too. So
I'm in if you're in.
I'm in if you're in.
Then I guess we're in.
Or out.
Come over to my place after work tomorrow, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Alright, and
Am I making you Randy?
What are you doing? This is so awesome.
What do you think?
Look at you.
Do you like it?
Yeah, come on in.
Okay, great. Yeah.
You got books. That's awesome.
Hey, am I dykey enough?
Bitch, please. You look lazy delicious.
everyone's so hot. Oh my god, low.
Yeah.
Our 2 girls are trying to do.
Wait, I need a drink. I feel like they're all staring at us, and what if they think we're all gay and they gang up?
Relax. We're like hot lipstick lesbians. Best kind.
Sophia action. Wow. What? What?
Do you remember doing shots of the girls' boobs?
Oh god, yeah. We suck as lesbians as well.
We should just stick to dicks.
Really?
You know what? That's it. I'm so done with it. Are we the craziest lesbians?